Hello everyone, Amod here from the Target Common YouTube channel. In this video tutorial, we will learn the use cases in which we can use typecasting concept of Java in Selenium WebDriver. So, why do we write WebDriver driver equal to new Chrome driver? You must have seen many posts, videos, or even faced this as an interview question. In fact, it is frequently asked interview question. Similarly, one more. Why do we downcast to JavaScript executor interface to execute any JavaScript command? One more. Why do we downcast to text screenshot interface before capturing screenshots? These are frequently followed in Selenium WebDriver automation without thinking much about upcasting, downcasting, and even why we do so. First of all, it is not mandatory to do. That means you don't need to write WebDriver driver equal to new Chrome driver always, and you don't need to downcast always to execute JavaScript commands or capturing screenshots. Let's understand it from scratch. If I ask you to launch a Chrome browser and load any URL, to launch a Chrome browser, I need to create an object of ChromeDriver class. So I need to call the constructor of ChromeDriver, which is ChromeDriver itself, because the constructor name and the class name are same. And I will import the ChromeDriver from Selenium. We can call any constructor using the new keyword. So when we write this statement, it is going to return an instance of ChromeDriver class. So that instance we need to store into a variable. So since the instance type is ChromeDriver, so we are going to create a variable, maybe driver, and the type of this driver will be ChromeDriver. Now I'm going to write driver.get to load any URL. So maybe I'm going to load Google. Now if I ask you to run some JavaScript command, that topic I'm yet to cover, but we are going to see some basic demo. So to run any JavaScript command on browser, we have some dedicated method. That method is execute and that method is present in some interface, which I will show you in some time. If I write driver.execute script, we can see I have this method. I'm not going to run anything here, just I am showing you that I am able to access this execute script method with this ChromeDriver object. If I ask you to capture a screenshot, then we have a method getScreenshot as. This method is defined in some different interface. Let me see if I can access that method using my ChromeDriver reference. So I'm going to use driver.getScreenshot as, and you can see. So what I'm showing you here, that I just created an object of ChromeDriver class and I'm able to access execute method, which is responsible to run any JavaScript command, and getScreenshot as, which will help you to capture the screenshot. Here I have not done any upcasting or any downcasting. So whatever questions I showed you in the beginning, those were not a definite steps to do every time. It is context based, scenarios based, or use case based. That I am going to explain you now. So here I wrote the simple script, and this is good if we are writing this program in interview or showing some demo. But if I ask you to create a framework using Selenium WebDriver, and a framework should support multiple browsers. Here I am using Chrome, but your framework should support Firefox, Edge, or any available browsers. Suppose I am creating a utility which will give me browser instances. So I'm going to create a new class, and maybe I can name it as getBrowser. So I'm going to create instances of different browser type classes. So I'm going to have a method like public, and let me give the method name. I can give like get Chrome. So obviously I need to create an object of ChromeDriver class, and I need to return this reference. So I'm going to use return ChromeDriver. Here I have not mentioned any return type. So what should be the return type? It should be ChromeDriver. So method is complete now. Now I'm going to duplicate this method for two other browsers like Firefox and Edge. This method is responsible to give me a Firefox browser instance, and this method is responsible to give me an Edge browser instance. The difference in the return type and which browser driver we are calling. I'll create an object of getBrowser class. I can call getBrowser.get. So let me use getChrome, and this I can store into ChromeDriver. And all these two methods will be accessible. That means I can use driver.execute and driver.getScreenshot as. The problem with this getBrowser implementation is that we are maintaining different methods for each browser type. And if we have multiple browsers, then it will be really difficult to create so many methods. But why here we need to maintain different methods for each browser? Problem is with the return type, because if I create one method, then the return type of the method should able to store any browser driver instance. It might be ChromeDriver also, it might be Firefox also. So what I'm trying to explain, I need a method like public. I don't know what will come here, and I will have a method name like getBrowser. Maybe I will have a parameter browser name. Here I can use switch keys or if else, whatever you want to use, you can use. So let me use if condition here, browser name equals ignore case Chrome. Then I need to create an instance of ChromeDriver. Else, if browser name equals ignore case age, then I'm going to have each driver object, and in the else condition I'm going to return Firefox. This is very simple logic, not optimal, just to show you the demo. The problem here, whatever browser name is passed, I need to return that instance, but I cannot put one type as return type here, because if I put Chrome driver, then first if condition will work perfectly fine. Here if I try to return each driver, it is going to give error because the return type is ChromeDriver. We cannot return each driver. So how can we solve this type of problem? This is not specific to Selenium. This is common Java problem where method may return different types. So we need to have a return type which can support those types of values. And here comes the concept of upcasting. In the last video tutorial, I explained hierarchy of Selenium WebDriver classes and interfaces. Just to recap, this ChromeDriver class extends Chromium driver, and this Chromium driver extends Remote WebDriver, and this Remote WebDriver implements multiple interfaces. So whatever methods we have in these interfaces are already inherited to Remote WebDriver, and since Chromium driver extends Remote WebDriver, so all those methods are also present here in Chromium driver. And since ChromeDriver extends Chromium driver, so everything are present in ChromeDriver. I just showed you execute script method. That method is present in JavaScript executor interface. And one method I showed you to capture the screenshot. That method is present in TakesScreenshot. Since Remote WebDriver implements these interfaces, so automatically those methods are present in ChromeDriver and we were able to access them. So now when we create an object of ChromeDriver class, currently we are storing the reference into the same type, that is ChromeDriver. But in Java, we can use some different type also. But that type should be part of the hierarchy. ChromeDriver is the subclass of Chromium driver. So the object of this ChromeDriver can be stored into supertype or parent type. But if you create an object of Chromium driver, we cannot store into Chrome driver. So we always need to do upcast. That means we can use any type, it might be classes or interfaces, to store the subclasses reference. That means we can use Chromium driver, or we can use Remote WebDriver, or we can use TakesScreenshot, search context, or any interfaces within this hierarchy. Let me show you quickly. I can use any super type. So I can use Chromium driver also. I can go up further. Let me use Remote WebDriver. Again, it is not showing any error. Similarly, I can use interfaces also. Maybe I can use WebDriver or search context. Let me use search context. It is not showing any error. Let me use WebDriver also. It is also not showing any error except importing, which I will do now. All these classes extends Remote WebDriver directly or indirectly. That means the reference of this Chrome driver or Edge driver or Firefox or any other driver classes can be stored into a type of Remote WebDriver reference variable, or further like WebDriver takes a screenshot or any other interfaces. Here, instead of mentioning any specific browser driver type, I'm going to use Remote WebDriver. Now I can return any instance based on browser name. So I will add return Firefox driver. And even we can go further, like instead of mentioning the remote WebDriver, we can mention WebDriver. Now you might be thinking what to use then, WebDriver as a return type or remote WebDriver as a return type. So in Java programming language, we generally try to have a type which can accommodate multiple different types of references, keeping in mind that any change in future should not break or can be fixed with few lines of changes. That means if tomorrow we have a new class which is providing the updated implementation of all these interfaces, maybe remote WebDriver 2. In that case, we may need to change the return type. If we keep the return type of method as WebDriver, where we have most of the methods related to browser actions like get, find element, etc. Then any new implementation of WebDriver will not break our existing methods in framework. So instead of keeping the return type as remote WebDriver, we generally use WebDriver. So in the Git browser class now, instead of having multiple methods for each browser, I can have single method. Git upcasting can give you some pain also. What is that? So in the first class, I'm going to call the new method. So get browser dot get browser, and here I am going to pass Chrome. And the return type of get browser is WebDriver. So I'm going to store into WebDriver. Now, if I want to run any JavaScript command, so let me try to access driver dot execute script. I don't see that method. If I want to capture a screenshot, get screenshot as that method also we don't have here. Why we don't have that method? So let's see this diagram again. When we upcast a class reference, then we lose direct visibility of methods present in subclasses or types. For example, here we have created an object of ChromeDriver class, but reference we have passed of WebDriver. So this ChromeDriver object will have no visibility of methods present in remote WebDriver or these interfaces like TakesScreenshot, JavaScript executor, or these interfaces. Even this ChromeDriver object will have no information about methods present in Chromium driver and ChromeDriver itself. Because of upcasting, it has lost the visibility of those methods. Now the question is which methods we can access now. Since we have upcasted this ChromeDriver object to WebDriver, so we can call any methods present in WebDriver interface plus any methods from search context. In the diagram, we can see this WebDriver interface has no relation with TakesScreenshot or JavaScriptExecutor interfaces. Same thing for these interfaces as well. So WebDriver does not know the methods present in these interfaces. That's why we were not able to get these two methods with the WebDriver reference. What is the solution now? We have created an object of ChromeDriver who has information about all the methods present in the hierarchy. Due to upcasting to WebDriver reference, it has lost the visibility. Now we need to remind the ChromeDriver object about its hidden methods. For that, we need to do downcasting. So downcasting is the process of converting the upcasted reference into other types in the hierarchy or back to original types. For example, we can downcast upcasted ChromeDriver object which is currently at this level to remote WebDriver or Chromium driver or ChromeDriver itself. Even we can use these interfaces as well. If we downcast from WebDriver to remote WebDriver, here we will be able to access any methods from TakesScreenshot interface or WebDriver or JavaScript executor, even these interfaces also, because at this stage we have the visibility of those methods. Instead of downcasting to remote WebDriver type, we can downcast to a specific interface also from where I need to call the methods. For example, if you want to capture a screenshot, then you can downcast to text screenshot and call the method. Same thing for JavaScript executor. Let me show you the demo. So again, Java basics here that upcasting happens automatically, but not downcasting. That means when we write WebDriver driver equal to new Chrome driver, we have not done anything explicitly except mentioning the type of reference variable. But to downcast, we need to do little more stuff. I'm going to comment these two lines. So I have this driver reference, which is of type WebDriver. I want to downcast to remote WebDriver first. So use the parenthesis at left hand side and put the type in which you want to downcast. So I'm going to use remote WebDriver here. This statement will give me downcasted ChromeDriver reference of type remote WebDriver. If you mouse over and click on this red button, you can see introduce local variable and you can see the type remote WebDriver driver1. Let me use this one, and now I should be able to access these two methods. Let me copy, paste below and change from driver to driver1. Same thing here, and I will uncomment this one. Now you can see I am able to access those two methods. Another solution, we can downcast to a specific interface also. I'm going to comment these lines again and use driver, and instead of remote WebDriver, this time use text screenshot interface, and it is going to return me a type of text screenshot. And now I can use driver1 dot get screenshot as method. But I cannot call driver1 dot execute script method because we have downcasted to text screenshot, and this interface has no visibility of JavaScript executor interface methods because they don't have any relationship between. So you can individually downcast to JavaScript executor interface. So let me copy and paste below. Instead of text screenshot, it will be JavaScript executor, and left hand side it will be JavaScript executor, and use driver 2. Now I can use driver 2 dot execute script. Now you should be able to understand what is upcasting, what is downcasting, and when we need to do that. So that's all in this video. If you have any doubt, please comment on this video. If you really like my videos, please like, comment, subscribe, and share with others. Thank you everyone.